Welcome to Your School News. I'm Caleb Hall. In the headlines this week, Board of Education November special meeting notes, 2 Murrayville teachers received the Teresa Pulliam Impact Award, and Blair holds a cookie drop for military service members. Our top story this week, the New Hanover Board of Education held a special meeting on Tuesday, November 24th. There were several items on the agenda. With all the notes from the meeting is YSN reporter Robert Redd.
The Board of Education held a special November meeting and was focused on the district's school improvement plans, budget amendments, and a new teacher support plan, among other items. Let's get right to the board notes. Under recognition of achievement, New Hanover County Schools Department of Communications and Outreach recognized 7 administrators, teachers, and coaches for their outstanding achievements. New Hanover High Athletic Director Keith Moore was recognized and presented with the NCHS AA Charlie Adams Award for going above and beyond in education and athletics. Laney High basketball coach Eric Davis for being named the East head coach for the 2021 East-West All-Star basketball game. Ryan Redd, David Glenn, and Barbara Ussery for earning the New Hanover County 4-H Partnership Award. Trask Middle teacher Shala Harper for being New Hanover County Schools representative for the Department of Instruction's Beginning Teacher of the Year Award, and Superintendent Dr. Charles Faust for being selected as a member in the 2020 Wilmington Biz 100. In addition to these educators, Ashley and Hoggard High School athletic programs were recognized for their player ejection-free 2019-2020 sports seasons, as well as Isaac Bayer Early College's unique and innovative program in the School Showcase. Community partner New Hanover County Disaster Coalition was also recognized for their work on connecting local residents affected by disaster to resources that aid in disaster readiness, response, and recovery. There were several items for discussion under new business. The board was brought a recommendation from the New Hanover County Republican Party for Pete Wildeboer to fill a vacant Board of Education seat due to incumbent board member Bill Ravenbark being elected to serve on the New Hanover County Board of Commissioners. The board voted to approve the recognition. District Elementary Director Dr. Jackie Jethro presented the 2020-21 School Improvement Plan Summary, also known as the NC STAR Action Report, that provided a summary of actions the district schools are taking as they focus on continuous improvement. Additionally, detailed information of improvement goals for each NHCS school was recommended to the board and was approved by the board. In accordance with the 2020-21 County Budget Ordinance, Finance Department CFO Mary Hazel Small requested that the board request approval by the New Hanover Board of Commissioners of various changes to the district's appropriated funds from the New Hanover County government. The request was approved and sent for consideration by the Board of County Commissioners. The board was also requested by CFO Mary Hazel Small to approve revisions to the district's 2020-21 budget that included reclassifying Learning Labs budget status, moving funds originally budgeted to support child nutrition salaries to non-instructional support, and other changes to offset revised changes in the state budget maximization plan. The budget revisions were approved. Assistant Superintendent for Technology and Digital Learning Don Brinson recommended that the board approve a 3-year contract with Carolina Advanced Digital Incorporated to move New Hanover County Schools' email archives and servers to a cloud-based network to provide data redundancy, more storage for email records, and replace the current physical server-based system that is nearing capacity. The contract was approved. The board brought forward a memorandum of understanding and a data sharing agreement with Duke University School of Medicine and the Duke Clinical Research Institute's ABC collaborative program for this program to monitor New Hanover County Schools' response to the pandemic and suggest knowledgeable, data-driven solutions to assist with the reopening of schools. The memorandum and agreement were approved. Finally, the board approved the 2020-21 Beginning Teacher Support Plan that includes a survey for first-year teachers and principals to provide feedback about educator preparation programs and mentor requirements. The next regular Board of Education meeting will be in January. Members of the public are welcome to attend, but in-person attendance will be strictly limited to no more than 25 members in accordance with CDC safe social distancing guidelines. As always, if you cannot attend the meetings in person, you can watch the rebroadcast here on NHCS TV, Spectrum Cable Channel 5. And that's your board notes for the November special meeting.
Congratulations to Miss Lisa Espy and Miss Caroline Day Garmont over at Murrayville Elementary. This past week, they received the Teresa Pulliam Impact Award. Now that's from the Domestic Violence Shelter and Services here in Wilmington. This award serves as commitment to honor the lives who have been lost to domestic violence by celebrating individuals who shine a light on the issue and inspire hope and change in our community. The ideal candidate is someone who has dedicated their time and talent towards violence prevention and creating an environment where all of the members of our community feel valued and safe. YSN reporter Brandon Shope spent some time at the school and caught up with the award winners. Here's what they had to say.
We have a lot of great partnerships in the schools and people that really work to put on our prevention and outreach programs, such as Hands Are Not for Hitting and Words Are Not for Hurting. And immediately, Lisa and Carolyn came to mind. They are kind of the first people to jump on what can we do to help these kids? What can we do to really work on this issue? And so it was kind of a no-brainer. They also are, if they have a family that is in need, it's like their first call. So they make sure that that family has all of the resources.
We're not doing anything any different than any other teacher or counselor is doing. Everybody's pressed to the limit with the new circumstances of how school's going this year. So the fact that people pay attention to what we're doing and appreciate it, it feels wonderful.
It's nice to be recognized in the community. You do get recognized occasionally at school, from parents, from your fellow staff members, but to hear a community agency nominate you for an award that, again, you're just doing everyday work. I feel like, these are the things that we do, that we're supposed to do just as humans, for each other. And then to get recognized for that, it's wonderful.
The holiday season is in full swing, and many of our teachers and staff members are going above and beyond to lend a helping hand where it is needed. The data manager at Blair Elementary recently helped package more than 200 cookies for area military service members at Camp Lejeune. It's all part of the cookie drop. Brandon Shope has that full story.
Volunteers up and down eastern North Carolina are working hard to make sure our military service members know they are appreciated this holiday season. Blair Elementary's data manager, Katie Sheff, is one of those volunteers who's making Christmas sweeter with a cookie drop.
I volunteer as a command team advisor, so a head spouse for 2nd Intelligence Battalion. My husband is a captain at Camp Lejeune. And so for this year, I'm in a leadership role where I work with spouses to coordinate service events for the Marines within the battalion. When we think about a battalion, it's similar to a size of a school. So the cookie drop event that we hosted for Thanksgiving was for 210 plus Marines that live in the barracks. We wanted to honor them with COVID precaution measures in mind, in a way that would be meaningful and intentional.
And she says the cookies always put a smile on the faces of those who receive them.
And I think about this time in particular, where there may be limitations with travel. We want to bring some pieces of comfort to Marines, especially over the holidays. In the past, we've put together a Thanksgiving meal for the Marines, but we knew that that couldn't be the case this year. So I was really impressed with the group of volunteer spouses that I worked with who proposed this cookie drop idea in order to really feel like we could touch the holiday spirit for the Marines.
I'm Brandon Shope for Your School News.
The 5th grade students at Blair Elementary had a blast learning math with their teacher, Miss Williams. It was a very great activity using Legos to build chemical equations. The fun part about this activity was that the kids could design Legos however they wanted. They could also substitute gummy bears and etc. The second part of the lab uses a piece of Alka-Seltzer, water, and a Ziploc bag to demonstrate the law of conservation of mass, which states that mass can neither be created nor destroyed, but it can be rearranged. The kids had a blast trying to weigh the Legos and figure out the exact amount in grams. They also had to test their artistic skills by drawing a small sketch of the Legos. They were very excited for this activity and are ready for the next one. Keep on having fun and learning at Blair Elementary, Miss Williams' 5th grade class. This is Your School News on cable and online. Look for our blue logo for all the latest news at www.nhcs.net. Welcome back to Your School News. I'm Caleb Hall. It's time for our Education Index, a look around the nation and the world at some of the top stories in education. Topping the index, in Senegal, the nonprofit charity group Let's Build My School is building schools out of upcycled materials. The organization was created by Leila Maru after being inspired by a volunteer trip to Argentina. Upcycling is when you take something no longer in use and give it a second life by turning materials into something else. Starting in 2017, the group's first project was a facility for toddlers, which was completed with the help of the local community and volunteers from Europe. The group's next project, another school in Senegal, is to be completed by the end of 2021. In Senegal, there are regions where only 50% of children have access to education, so schools are in great need. During construction, the charity also teaches local people special construction techniques so they can build their own houses using upcycled materials. Layla said it is about empowering communities to be able to expand the village and be independent, to have the dignity of building a roof over their head if they need to. Our next story takes us back here to the U.S. More than 200 students in one California district received turkeys, groceries, and their required school immunizations at a drive-through clinic last week. In Richmond, California, many families in the district are vulnerable to food insecurity, and more than 700 students still hadn't formally registered for school because they were missing their regular immunizations. During the drive-through event at district headquarters, 244 students received immunizations, and hundreds more are expected to take advantage of the program in the coming days at the El Cerrito Safeway supermarket, which partnered with the district. Safeway pharmacists provided and administered the vaccines. The cost will be covered by insurance for families who have it, and the district will use CARES Act funding, the one-time aid Congress set aside for schools earlier this year for those who do not. The Blue Shield of California and Hill Physicians Medical Group also helped with the event. The immunizations and aid were much needed during this time of a global pandemic. Finally, with schools being mainly online, sports this fall, along with activities like drama, band, and debate, have been halted. This is ringing alarm bells for educators worldwide who worry that without these activities, students will become less engaged in school. The necessity of postponing, minimizing, or canceling them due to COVID-19 puts millions of kids at greater risk of dropping out or falling behind. That could have disastrous consequences. Over the past several decades, researchers have found that participating in sports has a direct effect on high school students' academic performance. Kansas researchers in 2012 found that 80% of high school athletes in the state had GPAs of 3.0 or higher, 70% for non-athletes. Students will also be losing out on the mental and physical benefits these sports and other activities provide. This is the most detrimental for incoming freshmen who don't have the opportunity to make connections with their peers like they would have been able to do previously. Right now, we still don't have a clear picture of what sports are going to be like moving around forward, but hopefully we will see them return. And that's this week's Education Index, a quick look at some of the interesting education stories from around the nation and the world. Now don't go away, we'll be right back with Your School News on cable and online. Look for our blue logo for the latest news online at www.nhcs.net.
cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self. And I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
Welcome back to Your School News. I'm Caleb Hall. There's a lot going on Twitter these days, and with our NHCS chat hashtag, you can join the conversation. Right now, it's time for our What's Tweeting segment, all the latest NHCS news and photos that are creating a buzz on Twitter. We start off our segment today at Carolina Beach Elementary, where a local organization recently sent the school a tasty surprise. Before Thanksgiving, the nonprofit Nourish NC donated boxes of groceries, fresh produce, and turkeys to the school. In addition to Nourish NC, Carolina Beach teachers Ms. Marhold and Ms. Adair helped pick up and deliver the food to the school so students could have a holiday lunch before the break. Thank you, Nourish NC, for your generosity. Next, we head to Ogden Elementary, where students raised money for new materials and learned how to stay fit. Through an online program called Boosterthon, students took part in a virtual dance fit that encouraged students to dance more and learn about the benefits of fundraising. The students developed a successful fundraiser with DanceFit, and the school was able to raise enough money to buy new technology and supplies. Great work, Ogden Stingrays. Turning to Hoggard High, the school's Beta Club donated a much-needed infant commodity to a local organization. The Diaper Food Bank of North Carolina was in need of diapers for families in the area, and Hoggard's Beta Club decided it was time to take action. The club collected 2,553 diapers, including their collection period, and the diapers will go a long way to help caregivers, parents, and grandparents of our area's youngest. Amazing work, Hoggard Betas. Now we coast on over to Roland Grice Middle, where students got the opportunity to build their own roller coasters. Mr. K's engineering and technology class built the scaled down roller coasters to study how kinetic and potential energy works. The students timed how long marbles took to travel down their roller coasters and used the times to calculate how much of these two energies were present. Keep up the great learning, Knights. Looking at Wrightsboro Elementary, the school recently tweeted their first tree in their inaugural tree decorating contest. The first tree, dubbed the Cool Cat tree, is decorated with the school's colors of black, orange, and white, plus the school's lion mascot as the tree's topper. Wrightsboro expects there to be many trees that will be part of the decorating contest, and the school teased that they would tweet out the other trees as they are decorated. Great contest, Wrightsboro Lions. Our final story today comes from Bellamy Elementary, where the school's third graders created their own imaginative Bellamy Macy's Day Parade, based on the annual Thanksgiving Day Parade in New York. Students created paper balloons that represented something important in their lives, from ukuleles to Garfield the cat. Students got very creative with this activity and posted their paper balloons on pin boards in the school's hallways. Awesome creativity, Bellamy Eagles. This is Your School News, on cable and online. Look for our blue logo for all the latest news online at nhcs.net. Also, make sure to follow us on Facebook and on Twitter and on YouTube.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Your School News. I'm Caleb Hall. Andy Webb, an instructional coach at Forest Hills Global Elementary, received a $1,000 Global Literacy Community Grant. She will use the funds to purchase global children's literature for the school, as well as Spanish early readers and books for American Sign Language. In this special feature, we hear from her and what this grant means to the students of Forest Hills Global Elementary.
So the award is the Global Literacies Community Grant, and it's through the University of Arizona, and I applied for it this summer and then was fortunate around the beginning of school to find out that I was accepted to receive the award. The award gives us $1,000 to spend to purchase global books that are from the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals Book Club list, and it provides us with books for our English language learners and American Sign Language books for our deaf and hard of hearing students, as well as world map dry erase boards. So we have a team of teachers that will be writing lesson plans to go along with the books that were selected, and then all of the lesson plans will be shared with teachers throughout the school, and then all of the books that were purchased will be barcoded through the Media Center. There's multiple copies. That way teachers throughout the whole school have access to not only the books, but they have access to lesson plans too. So that's to try to take off some of the work of the teachers, but then still provide them with what they need to. We got, I estimate, about 1,000 books, because we got many of our global books from the Sustainable Development list, but we also got sets of leveled readers for our English language learners and American Sign Language books. And then we also got dry erase boards. So I probably about 100 books, and then a class set of dry erase boards that we can distribute around the school. It's very beneficial for the teachers to get these awards, because then it shows that the work that they put into trying to apply for a grant actually was worthwhile, and then in the long run it puts materials in the hands of our teachers and students that we would not otherwise have without grants like this. So funders who are willing to donate funds for schools like us are actually very much appreciated. It's really important. I really appreciate the University of Arizona being willing to share a grant like this to help us out.
Learning during the COVID-19 pandemic can be challenging at times for students. Teachers are coming up with new ways to keep their kids engaged and on their feet. Amber Adams over at Trask Middle School is doing that with a variety of new activities, including an educational game called Zoomies versus Roomies. Here's that full story.
Hi! Hi, Jeffrey, I love your hat. Thank you. Knowing that I'm there for them and that we're all going through this together and just taking it day by day, because that's all we can do right now. I joke with them, I laugh with them. They know that my door is always open. If they need anything, I'm here. 3 and 4 are talking about speed, right? If I'm in a car and I'm going 20 miles per hour, I'm going 20 miles per hour down the road in a car, right? Or maybe Miss Adams is just that fast and I'm running 20 miles an hour. Dang. Yeah. Just trying to make it as fun and as exciting as possible and get their attention. Sometimes that might mean telling really silly jokes or my horrible singing, but it gets them involved and they listen. Having the kids back 50% has been amazing. It's the reason why I do my job, is to be around the kids. So even if we have to, do the 3 W's, it's working. It's working for them, I think. How about number 3, roomies? You got it? Oh, okay. We didn't even get to number 3 yet. Go ahead.
I think 3 doesn't belong because it's the only one that's correct.
Which is actually, yeah. If we're in a car, you're driving down your neighborhood. Well, not you, you don't drive. With your parents. Do you ever see like a speed limit sign? Yes. Wouldn't this one be the most relatable? And they like to compete. So I will do some games, roomies versus zoomies. So I'll mute my side so the roomies can talk and the zoomies do a great job of communicating in the chat. I have seen so much wonderful collaboration going on through writing with math, which is insane to me that they're able to do that at this young of an age. but they make sure that all their classmates are understanding how to solve the problems. It's wonderful. I try to involve them as much as possible, having them answer questions, whether that's through their microphone or in the chat and Zoom. I send home postcards, just letting them know that I'm thinking about them and they're doing a great job. And again, I reach out to their parents. It really goes, if they know that you're thinking about them and that you care about them, I think it really shows.
So many great things are happening in our school system to keep kids learning. That's all we have for today's show. Keep it tuned here each week for the latest from the Hanover County Schools. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. I'm Caleb Hall. Thanks for watching.